Okay, so today I have Parris here. He was able to get a remote position for $130,000 a year. And Parris has a very unique story, even how we met. So let's go ahead and get straight into the video. Parris, you can start off by introducing yourself, like who were you before you joined, and what was wrong with your life at that time?
Well, my name is Parris Brantley, as you all might know from the group. But before I joined the program, I was a person that mainly worked in customer service jobs from the time that I got out of college, mostly to obviously now. I had worked in a bunch of call center settings. I was doing IT support at one point, tech support at one point. I worked for Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield. I worked for U.S. Bank, Elevance Health, which is another form of Blue Cross Blue Shield. And I had been doing that for ever since 2012, leading all the way up to 2025 last year. So I was a person that prior to this, I'm pretty sure you'll get into it here later, but prior to this, I had not really had a tech background outside of the customer service roles that I was doing. And to be honest with you, you got to have thick, very, very thick skin to work customer service. You're talking about like, waiter jobs, obviously call center, obviously anything in the service industry. So I was not very satisfied with my life because I was relatively unskilled despite going to college because I do have a college degree, but I was relatively unskilled. And I just was not satisfied where I was. So, that's why I'm here today.
Okay, okay. Thank you for sharing. And then what were you afraid would happen if nothing changed in terms of where you were?
Was afraid that I was going to live a purposeless life. I was just a person that was just going to be here. I just was born one day. I lived, I did a couple things here and there, and then I died without having made my mark on the world and having done anything that was worth any kind of real significance to anybody. So that is something that I really fear. And as I've gotten older, it really started to hit me. Traveling here and there, learning new things. Um, that's something that I just dread. And now that I've been in this program, this is going to give me the opportunity to really fulfill a lot of my life's goals. And I look forward to it.
Okay, okay. And then, why did you almost not join and what made you say yes anyway?
Well, the thing is that a lot of people make promises, of fortune and fame, and you know the whole saying, when it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So when you approached me with the opportunity, I really looked back and said, you know, it sounds good, but I don't know that this guy is really, I don't know that he's really able to deliver on his promises the way he says he is. So I'm gonna back off for him, and I'm gonna keep doing what I was currently doing, which is I was trying to become a Python programmer at the time. And what led me to, finally considering the offer was I got kind of disenchanted with the process of Python programming. I just didn't know the things that I needed to know. And that was because now that I understand, I needed a mentor, I needed a program. And you presented me with that program that I needed, and you obviously with people that are in the program helping you out, there were people that would guide me, not me personally, but all of us in the way that we needed to go and the things that we needed to do and the steps that we needed to take to be able to get to this part. So I think that what you provided was not necessarily the spark, but you provided the infrastructure, and also the pathway to be able to guide me to say, hey, don't do everything by yourself. Don't do everything. Don't do all these things, these unstructured things. Don't do all these random things. Here is a pipeline. Here is a pathway for you to do that. If you follow these steps, you will get results.
Okay. And do you feel like, you know, you just got your first offer, what I talk about is how to make $500,000 a year. And even though you just got your first offer for 130, um, let's take a step back, not really the money, but more so the skill. Because you joined about a year ago and I've seen you put in the work. Like when I say I've seen, like you have put in the work consistently. I think that's the word I'm looking for. And I want to talk about the skill set that you were able to obtain here. And actually, I want you to kind of talk about that in terms of, you know, do you feel like the mentorship was valuable and in terms of like you actually getting the skill? What is the skill set and what's the end result of the skill?
Well, the skill set that I mainly obtained was how to use automation tools, of course, but also how to think differently. So it was equal parts of how to think about solving problems about, when you're getting hired, you're essentially getting hired to solve this company's problems, how to approach that, how to approach problem solving, of course, how to use these tools in conjunction with each other to solve their problems because they have a very specific business need. So I mainly the skill that I would say that I gained the most was how to articulate my abilities to an employer in a way to make them understand, hey, I know what I'm talking about, and hey, I can help you out as well. Because once you get in the interview process, you may know how to use these tools, but as in the case of any public presentation, you have to be able to relay that message to people who not only may not know the tools that you and the concepts that you are presenting, but the people who do know them very, very intimately. And they may want you to present it in a way that, says, hey, this guy presents something unique to us in our business in the fashion that they are presenting this and that they know that they really know what they're talking about. And this person is going to be an asset. So that really was the thing that I was trained on, and the people that you have in the program, they were really able to provide me with that because I needed structure. And not only did they break things down and tools and concepts down to me in a way that I can understand, they gave me a lot of suggestions to improve upon my own understanding and a lot of homework, as I would put, to make me further understand it and make me even more curious as to those things. So, all those things were really just a godsend to me in my journey as to being in the IT industry overall.
Wow. And, an end result of being able to learn the tech stack, being able to build project solutions for companies for the problems that they do have, and being able to articulate the experience and projects that you've gained from this program, you know, what would you say is, so number one, do you feel like you confidently have that skill? Yes, no.
Absolutely.
And what are some of the end results that, or what have you seen even within the community, outside the community, in terms of like having this skill set? What have you seen in terms of opportunities, offers, remote, just different things that you've seen personally?
I've seen just for people in the community that have gone through the program, they get results. So if they stay the course and actually complete the process, if they do what they're told to do, and then, do some extra on their own, as part of taking some initiative, they usually get results. And the way you know is that they post it because people can say a lot of things that they're doing this and this and this. It doesn't mean anything if you can't prove it.
Hmm.
So I've seen the proof, and that's what I was really looking for. People post the wins that they get in the group in terms of the employment offers, uh, and even just the interviews that they get, being hooked up with all kinds of recruiters and getting opportunities to travel places. So I saw the proof firsthand, and I see it every single day with people getting real results. So
Okay.
that's what I have been getting as well. And obviously, I just got my, official offer of employment, or I've accepted the offer of employment. So, in terms of what the program is doing for people, I can visually see it. And I have been able to help people myself while in the program, and they have gotten results too. So, that has been really the biggest thing for me in terms of like seeing tangible results, not just hearing people say it, but seeing tangible results.
Okay. And then you talked about the community. How valuable do you think the community is that we have here at the 1% University?
I'm a big believer in the old saying, I'm going to date myself, but it takes a village to raise a child. And I think that that applies to this as well. Some of us, I'll speak for me. when I first came into the program, I could be compared to a child in terms of my understanding of IT overall, but cloud and DevOps principles specifically. And it really did take a village to quote unquote raise me um, into what I am now and what I'll eventually become. So doing all this on your own, it would take probably double the amount of time without that structure. But with this community, being able to bounce ideas off of people, being able to reach out directly to people who know more than me and who can guide me and who can give me advice on what I should do and what I should not do, that is so valuable. And having a community is something that you need in real life, of course, outside of what you do in a career. But as far as your career, you need people to help you along the way because you cannot do all this on your own and really get those kinds of results, in my opinion, on your own if you do not have this rich tapestry of resources to tap into.
Okay. Okay. And I want to talk about like the identity. I always talk about identity in terms of the type of person you need to become or like you have to be to actually get the results. And so, I've said this on different videos, but in terms of you specifically, do you feel like, you're the type of person that was like, hey, this has to work or it has to work? And you're the type of person that's like when there's a problem, when there's an obstacle, you know that, hey, this obstacle, this problem is not bigger than me. So I'm bigger than the obstacle. So you overcome the problem, right? You don't let the problem overcome you and stay stuck, right? And so in terms of like the type of person that you specifically are, or people that's been successful in this program, and you can use your own words. What is that? That identity, the type of person, how he thinks to be able to actually apply the blueprint with the mindset to get some of the results that you've seen.
In my opinion, I think you have to be relentless, and I think you have to be striving for something beyond money because yeah, you do want a job. We all need jobs. But me, I was striving for, I wouldn't say meaning. I was striving for a way to make myself into a more well-rounded person and make myself into somebody who I can honestly say that person poured their heart and soul into something and they got results. And they really dug down deep into the trenches and they really said, hey, I'm going to accomplish this thing and I don't care what happens to me. Now, you know, just to control for, extreme things like, extreme things that may happen to your health or happen to other people. But I, I want to stress that the kind of person that the kind of person that needs to invest in this program and succeed is a person that really knows how to dig down deep and really tap into something that they probably didn't even know that they had. Now, if you have knowledge of, these concepts already, it might not be that hard to you, just to finish the program. But if you're somebody like me, who I'll just go ahead and say it, before I joined this program, I never knew how to create a meme. I never knew how to create a GIF. And prior to this program, I had never used ChatGPT ever.
Wow.
Never. I never did. Never done any of that. Now I do those things on a day-to-day basis, not with everything, but with a person like me, I had experienced a lot of pain while being in this program, not anything with you all, but with me as far as having to overcome challenges. And in the end, it was worth it because I'm a person that is I have played football and I'm in the sports and I'm in the personal fitness. So I'm used to pain. I'm used to overcoming those things. But I haven't really seen a lot of things from start to finish in my life. I have trouble finishing things. And this is one of the few things in my life where I've actually finished it and got the results.
Wow. Wow. And the type of person you are to overcome those problems, those challenges. I kind of want to talk about where you were before in terms of income and then where you are now. Like what did that look like in terms of the numbers? Yeah.
Well, before I was right at the like if you go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, most people who, let's just say, I'll go ahead and say it, most people who look like us, they are somewhat under 45K a year.
Mm,
And that's right where I was. You typically under 45, under 40K a year. And that is okay when you are young and we don't have any kids. I don't have any kids. And when you're just kind of living alone and just kind of searching for who you are and trying to move up in the ranks of your professional life. As you get older, you have to make more money. As you have children, as you try to acquire assets, as you look towards the future, that the big R word, retirement, it's once you cross over 35 or 30 to 35, you're going to start to look and say, hey, one day I'm going to have to, it's going to come faster, than I think. So that was, this is really, really important to me because I see a lot of people that are just not able to retire these days, and I don't want that to be me. Now, of course, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I don't want that to be me. So, I mean, the kind of person that I am now, um, I would say that I'm still relatively the same as I was before the program, but now I have been exposed to so many different things that you have basically taught me how to fish. I
mm,
already knew a little bit how to fish before, but now it's not that you gave me a fishing rod, but you have taken me out to the ocean. Whereas I was in a little pond before, but now I'm in this big ocean with a bunch of different rods and a bunch of different techniques about how to use this rod and this bait and this and this and this. So now I can really use my talents and fish for a wider variety of, you know,
there.
ocean life and sea life, so
And do you feel like you can fish independently for life with the skills that you possessed with this program?
absolutely.
Okay. Do you feel like money will ever be a problem?
No, if you have the skill, you can get the money. And once you get the money, you can translate that into other things. So it can grow your skill, or you can transition into something else totally that's not even IT related. So as
Mm.
long as you have that foundation and that rock of, some kind of a skill, some kind of a trade, you can always parlay that into other things that will grow your wealth, but also grow you into a better overall person.
Okay. And what specifically did this program give you that you could not get on your own?
Structure.
Mm,
Um, I am not a person who is, I'm not a person who has a lot of dead ends, as I guess for lack of a better term. I don't have a lot of people hanging on me. I don't have a lot of dependents. I don't have a lot of terrible habits. I don't have any records like with the law or anything like that. But I am a person who, prior to this, I was a little scatterbrained. So I would start stuff, but I wouldn't finish it. I'm very good with ideas, very good with coming up with concepts of starting things, but seeing it to the finish, I have a I have a bit of a problem with that. And this program, with the things that you have, come up with and have tailored this program to be, it makes you finish.
mm,
So, and plus the financial commitment is also there as well.
mhm.
So I had every incentive to finish. And as you said before, you said it's going to work, either it's going to work or it's going to work. I took that mentality to heart when you said it. And I was like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I don't care what it takes. I don't care if I have to get my left arm. I'm going to make sure I finish this program because my mentality is that this is all that I have. I'm going to dive head first into the deep end of the pool, so to speak, and I'm not coming up for air until I touch the bottom of that pool. So that was my mentality going into it, and I think that I accomplished that.
Okay. And I want to talk about that. So me specifically, when I used to teach, I used to teach for free day trading back in the day. And my friends, people just out there I didn't know, I had a class of 30 people. Literally one person actually finished, and it's because he had a strong why. His mom had like medical bills and he had to pay, and it was really serious for him. The reason why I'm saying this is like 1 out of 30. That's a really low probability. And there's things like YouTube University, and I always say this, you don't have to join my program. There's other programs, so there's YouTube University, but I want to point out this one thing that makes the difference, what I've realized. When you pay for something, especially if it kind of hurts a little bit, you're not just going to walk away, right? The likelihood of you finishing something where there is a financial commitment has increased, especially if the thing that you have to finish is something that can dramatically change your life for the rest, like, yeah, change your life for the rest of your life. And so for you specifically, when you did and make that financial investment, number one, I want to ask two questions. Number one, keep it simple. Was it worth it?
Absolutely.
And then number two, do you feel like it increased the probability of you finishing actually investing in a mentor that can show you step by step as opposed to you doing it on your own?
Yes. Once you put, people have always heard the term skin in the game. Once you have some skin in the game, it really gives you incentive to, do as you're told and really see it to fruition. And me making that financial commitment is, you know, for me, I'm fortunate to have had the money available. And I know there are, financing options and, things of that nature, but that really increased my level of productivity because I knew this is not, for me at least, this is not a small gesture of faith. This is actually, I consider this a significant amount of money based on where I come from. So I had every incentive to finish and I was going to finish. I was determined to finish.
And you felt like that investment was worth it? Are you sure?
Yes, absolutely. It was worth every penny.
Would you do it again?
If I had to do it again, I'd do it again.
Okay. And so one thing I want to say is, and I want to mentor anybody watching this video is from my eight-figure mentor. But one of the things he taught me was, when it comes to low and middle class people, they value money more than time. They would rather take the longer route to hold on to money. And they, like, for example, this happened to me. I did not want to pay $5,000 to learn. It was a tech program. Um, and so I literally wasted a lot, just to sum it up, I wasted 11 months. I could have been making 7,600 a month 11 months earlier. I didn't want to pay $5,000. I ended up paying $83,000 in opportunity cost because 11 months times 7,600, because that could have been in my bank account, right? That's $83,000 if my math is correct. I didn't want to pay $5,000. That was the price of the program. There's the price and there's the cost. There's the hidden cost. It's called opportunity cost. You're going to pay either or. You choose. I didn't know this at the time, but had a broke mentality. I said, no, I don't want to give the money, right? I was fearful. Okay. I still had to end up going back and paying that $5,000 to get the results. But it's just to say, broke people, just say broke mentality, we value, I won't say we, but they value money more than time because you could have got there a lot sooner and started making money sooner. And it would have been a lot less stressful because you have somebody saying, hey, don't go that way. You're going to waste time, energy, and stress doing this. Come this way. And so, do you feel like you kind of got that guidance, like, hey, don't go this way, go this way? And it was less stressful. It was still stress, right? It's not easy, but it was less stressful than doing it on your own. Did you feel like that going through this program?
Absolutely. I mean, if I had done this on my own, I would have probably still been struggling with some core concepts as of now, and I wouldn't be ready for a job. This program allowed me to streamline that process a lot faster, and I am I am somebody who I value structure. I value a a program such as this because you get a lot more help. You get a lot more hands, you get a lot more knowledge working on you and on your behalf. So this was absolutely needed. And, you know, it is kind of like having having a family. Whereas you can do things on your own. You can like say, for instance, if you're moving into a new apartment or whatever, you can do that on your own, or you can get some help from your family members and or you could pay a moving company and help them help you, and that would be extra money out of your pocket. Or you could have your family members and rather than pay them money, you could pay them in a different way, like watching the kids while they have to go to work or doing something else, which helps your family overall. So if you value money, I think you'll do it, the former way. If you value time, I think you do it the latter way, because not only do you get more time to, do whatever it is you got to do with your own money, but you also get more time with your family because now you're helping your family out and now you get to spend more time with your family, you get to bond, you get to work out issues. So, I am a big believer in that.
Okay, okay. And wealthy people, they value time than money, right? So if there's a way that they can pay money to get their time back, they're going to do that every single time. Now, obviously, if you like if your mortgage is $3,000 and you have $3,000 to your name, you don't want to do that, right? There's common sense that goes into like what I'm saying, but it's just a belief system that goes with, okay, if there is a way that I can expedite my process to get the results faster, to start living the life that I want faster, to start spending time with my kids faster, to start taking care of my mom, my dad, my kids faster, to start traveling faster instead of spending 1 year, 2 years, whatever the case may be, added stress, right? Most people, a wise person would pay, right? It's still a risk because there's no guarantee. I always say that with everybody that comes into the program. I don't know if you're going to get an offer letter. All I know is that people that's had the mindset to overcome obstacles and to go through the step-by-step blueprint, they were able to get the skill set. And as Parris said, the byproduct of having the skill set with time is, some results with the offer letter. And Parris, I want to ask, did you feel like the teachings was like really broken down in a very basic way, like a fifth grader can understand it?
Oh yeah, yeah. And I needed that because, well, in terms of my knowledge of, IT overall, I was with comparable to maybe a fifth grader. So yeah, that was needed on my end.
And so now you went from almost nothing to now really getting a cloud engineer job. Do you feel like you can confidently defend yourself, build projects, excel at a company because of what we've prepped you in this program?
Absolutely. I've built a multitude of projects and home labs on my own. Obviously, I do have some help with, obviously automation tools and whatnot, but I can do that at a company every single day, and I don't think that it would be in question outside of maybe certain concepts that are above my seniority, if for lack of a better term. I think that I can confidently do the job.
Okay. And so essentially you went from zero to hero, and then the boat, the vehicle was this program, correct?
Correct.
And then it kind of smoothing out that process as opposed to you doing it on your own, correct?
Absolutely.
And so I want to be very specific. I will never say, hey, please join my program. Like realistically, I'm not here to just, hey, buy my course. I am here to show people what is possible, right? Paris literally did not know anything about cloud. And there's been countless of other people with the same situation. Okay, there's Stormy, there is Woodland, right? They all have, successful testimonial videos on my YouTube page. Now I'm sharing this and I'm saying this because I want to scream out to the world what Cloud Engineer has done for me. It's changed my life. What it's doing for my students, it literally just changed Paris' life forever. Like he has the skill set. He can always get a job if he wants to, remote. He literally 3x, almost 3x his income from 45K to 130. That is insane. That's not common. And he can do that for the rest of his life. He can get another job if he wants. And so he can make more money. So I'm saying this because this changed my life, right? I just created this program so I can help somebody who's like, I am looking for a step-by-step guidance. I'm looking for help, right? And I'm looking for something that works. And so if that is you, there is a link in the description below to apply. We do not just accept anybody. We need to make sure that you are committed. You are the person that's like, hey, I am ready. I am the person that's that can overcome obstacles, problems, right? I am the person that's willing to put in the work to get this skill, right? And so, Paris, do you feel like if anybody's watching this, that's like, hey, that's me, I'm willing to commit, do you feel like they can actually get the skill set if they tried?
If you apply yourself and you really dig deep into something that you probably didn't even know was there, I'm confident that you will not only get the skill set, but you will eventually land a job. Don't know when you'll land a job, but you will land a job if you just do as they are instructing you to do, and you generally apply yourself to the best of your abilities. Absolutely.
Okay. Do you feel like when you were stuck, you had someone you could reach out to and get unstuck?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's what the community is for. It's for you to reach out to people and people to reach out to you to see if you understand what these concepts are that are being taught, and you can bounce ideas off of other people and really come to a good understanding of what all this means in totality.
How did you like the career coach, Felipe, the Anita, the support to kind of guide you to for extra support?
I love that. I loved all that together, especially, Felipe, because the projects that he actually has us do, he will organize the projects almost like a real, no, not almost, really like a real DevOps team, where he will give, hey, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. And that's literally how a DevOps team works. Everyone has their assigned responsibility. So once you're on a project like that and you do that in that fashion, it gets you to really understand, like, oh, okay, well, this is just what I'm going to be doing at work. This is the exact role I would have. So all I have to do is just translate that into an actual job role and just, collect the money. So
Mhm.
as far as everyone else, yes, they were really, really helpful as well, as far as giving updates, keeping us posted on things that would just normally slip through the cracks if we were doing this all ourselves. So again, the program is a godsend because it's a bunch of people working together to uh, basically give us the skills and the knowledge that we need to succeed in this role, these roles.
Okay, okay. What's so real quick, taking I have about like three more questions, three or four, but let's talk about Felipe. What would you well, let's say this. What's like the best thing? Well, first off, how do you feel about Felipe? Anything that comes to mind?
Felipe, he was kind of an inspiration for me because I don't know everything about Felipe, of course, but he was a DJ and really still is a DJ to a certain degree. And he, I, I saw some of his prior, I don't want to say interviews. They were some of his prior teachings where you were actually teaching or someone else was teaching and he was a part of the class. So seeing the instructor as part of the actual class was like, oh, okay, well, obviously we all, come from somewhere. We have to start somewhere. But seeing him in there and seeing like him asking the same questions that we have to where he is today, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, he did it in this program back when the program was in its infancy stages. Well, now the program is actually grown and it's expanded more and more and incorporating more and more things. So you're getting a lot more education and knowledge and training than the actual instructor slash trainer was getting. And
Hmm.
he's the one that's actually teaching it. So that's actually a big benefit. And you can see it in real time. You can see the progression to where he is now.
Hmm.
So I think Felipe he's been so beneficial to the program in terms of how he runs it. And he's a testimony to someone who feels as if they cannot accomplish this. Well, you have the instructor that was once the student and now he is the teacher. So I think that's all the proof that you need.
For context, Felipe was a student. He joined in January 2025, I think. And um, he finished the program in 3 weeks, and I thought he was cheating. And so I called him up and I did like a impromptu mock interview, and he crushed it. And I was like, yo, there's barely anybody that I know that can teach better than me. I want to hire you. So I hired him on the spot. And he's been amazing. Like there's other people that say, hey, the best thing about the program is Felipe. He's really provided a lot of value for the students and it's really helped. And so it's a blessing to have Felipe, because one of the things we have here at the forefront of our business is we serve first, right? You know, the money is fine, but before I hire anybody, they have to have the mindset that you need to serve first. And Felipe has done nothing but that since he's joined the program. And so, just for context for people listening, Felipe is he teaches the life boot camps Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Right, I teach on Sundays, and then there's a whole different there's a video that explains everything. But Felipe has been phenomenal. And so, what would you say is different about your life now? You could be specific, the money, the job, the confidence, the time, the stress, the freedom. You can say anything that comes to mind.
Well, I would say now, I have the confidence now that I can walk into an interview and I can answer most of their questions to a satisfactory or exemplary level. And I can get that job if, obviously if they don't have anybody that's even more qualified than me, of course. But I can honestly get that job and I can get multiple interviews if because I get I just today I had another recruiter direct source me for another contract role for a DevOps engineer. So
And
I'm like,
I wanted to touch on that. So a lot of people say stuff online and they say it because it sounds good, and it's not really true. What I say is, hey, I'm teaching you a skill set, the tech stack, cloud engineering. The minimum amount is 130 on average, right? So I teach you a cloud engineer tech stack and projects, right, that you can build that solves real companies' problems in today's market. So you get that experience. So that's one skill. And then the second skill I teach you is how to get recruiters to reach out to you, right? Also, how to position yourself as an authority, how to communicate the technical experience that you've gained from this program, and to position yourself as one of the top candidates on any job interview. I'm not saying you'll get the job, no, but you'll position yourself as one of the top candidates. It increases the probability of you getting an offer letter. That is what I say online. Do you honestly feel like you've gotten that skill?
yes, I did.
That was straightforward. Okay. And so I want to say that because not only is there offer letters, right? It's a lot of them, right? It kind of proves it. There's different testimonies, people posting, hey, I got this recruiter reaching out. I got this recruiter. Do you feel like you've seen a lot of people saying that in the Wins channel? I got this recruiter reaching out, this recruiter.
Yeah, you see that like, in a typical week, uh I say you would see at least 4 to 5 of those a week. Sometimes even more because there's so many recruiters that reach out. Some of the recruiters are a little iffy sometimes, but a lot of the recruiters they are reaching out for like legitimate positions. So I see a lot of that in the the wins channel on your in your program. So if a person applies themselves and they market themselves the way that they're supposed to do, they will get people reaching out to them because there are so many jobs available and so many recruiters out there trying to get, they're trying to source their candidates, get their commissions and whatnot, and try to find the right people for those roles. So I am a testament to that because obviously I got one today, but I get those very often via email. I never say anything, but I get those all the time via email. I even have the other thing that you'll have is you will have recruiters that actually formulate a personal relationship with you, and they will reach out to you ever so often to say, hey, there's another company that's searching for something. I wanted to present this with you. I did not post it online on a forum or any kind of job site. I'm just sourcing it to you first. So for those of you that don't know, you think that when you go on, LinkedIn jobs or when you go on ZipRecruiter, Glassdoor, all these jobs, you think that those are all the jobs that are available. No, that's if you know how an iceberg works, the tip of the iceberg, well, the part that you see above water is just a portion of it. The vast majority of the iceberg is submerged underwater. And I'm talking about like 3/4 of the iceberg is underwater. So that's the way some of the job market works as well. You see the surface level jobs that are posted, but beneath the surface, the ones that they don't post, they're actually reaching out to people in their DM. So it's like a relationship. Some people they will go out into the marketplace, to the club, to a bar, to wherever to try and, get a potential mate. Well, some people these days, because of social media, they just get in direct message people, and that's how they formulate relationships. That's how they close business deals. Some people go to a country club. Some people go golfing. Some people do this. That is all a form of direct sourcing.
Mm.
So that is the hidden job market, if some people call it that. So this program is really geared towards getting you into that, so that you still have to apply, of course, but you will have access somewhat to a hidden job market that other people don't even know exists.
Hopefully, anybody listening to this, you took some notes because that was honestly a gem. And I always talk about a 1% gem, but that was pretty much a 1% gem. And so I have like two more questions, but how do you feel about your future now compared to before?
I really like my prospects. I am a person who I'm like anyone else. I have a lot of dreams and goals, and I was not certain that I was going to even accomplish a fourth of those goals before I got into this program. But now with this, um, I am certain that I'll get to some of them. Getting to all of them, I don't know if I can really get to all of them, but because I have very lofty goals. But I'm certain that I'm going to get to some of them. Traveling is one. So, you know, yeah, that's what I'll say. I'm fairly certain that I'll get to some of them very soon.
Okay, okay. And if somebody is watching this and it's where you were, what would you tell them?
I will first ask them, how serious are you about getting out of this rut that you're in? And if you're serious enough to where I was, where you would literally, no, let me not say what I want to say, you would sacrifice most of your time and your relationships in terms of like going out on the weekends, you know, buying extravagant items, investing in things that have nothing to do with you accomplishing your goals. How much of that stuff are you willing to sacrifice? And if you're like me, I was willing to sacrifice everything. I cut everybody off just to let you guys know this month, this is in May 2026. I started this journey last year, this time.
Mm.
Now, Tayo reached out to me prior to May of last year, but I kind of, like I told you, I blew him off because I didn't think it was real. But later on, I came back to him when some things were happening with my last job. And I said, hey, you said you could do this for me. Well, tell me more about it. And, obviously I ended up in the program. So it took me exactly 1 year to land this opportunity with all the things I had to go through with the program and my personal growth. And it was all worth it. So if you are where I was, I'm not going to tell you to do something crazy like what I did, which is quit your job and just dive headfirst into the program. I'm not going to tell you to do that because you already know how the job market is right now. But I will tell you, I think you should stop going out. I think you should stop spending all that time with your friends. I think you should stop lollygagging, and I think you should get really serious because if you get serious enough and you get hungry enough and you get desperate enough, um, I think that you can accomplish what you want to accomplish, but you
Mm.
have to want it. You have to have a burning desire inside of you to accomplish something that's bigger than yourself. You know what I'm saying? So if you're a sports fan, you have to when you're looking at a person like God rest his soul, Kobe Bryant, the late great Kobe Bryant of the Los Angeles Lakers, if you hear people talking about him, you'll hear stories about him when he was like 14, 15, 16. He was telling his high school teammates, "Oh, Jordan, yeah, he's great, but he can't beat me one-on-one." Imagine somebody saying that in 1995 as a 16-year-old. I can beat Michael Jordan one-on-one. He's, that guy, he's okay, but he can't beat me. You got to have that kind of confidence and the kind of confidence backed up by his work ethic, waking up at 3 a.m. to shoot in the lift and being what some people will call a sociopath. I don't want to, label him that, but that's what people will call him. You have to kind of have, to me, to where I was at, you kind of have to have that kind of mentality to where I'm going to do this and nothing's going to stop me. Like,
Hmm.
I'm going to accomplish this, and I will not rest until I complete this goal. So that's the kind, not everyone has that kind of mentality. Not everyone is kind of built to do that. But if you are willing enough and you are hungry enough, I would suggest that you join a program like this and get with like-minded individuals so that you can truly improve your life because it's worth it.
Mm. Okay. Okay. And the last thing I always ask is what's like a 1% gem? You probably already gave it, but what's like a 1% gem that you can give to anybody listening to this right now? A 1% gem is something that somebody can tangibly use to get closer to their financial goal.
What I would say is, first off, ask yourself some questions. What is it that I want to do? And then ask yourself, why do I want to do that? And then ask yourself, how do I plan on doing this thing that I want to do? And then the last question is, what do you expect the constructive result to be once you do this? And after that, you should really have most of what you need to be able to, eventually engage in this endeavor. And what I would do is I would write that down and I would really think to myself about why I wanted to do what it is that I want to do. And after that, I would say you need to go about acquiring a hard skill. And this program obviously is about acquiring a hard skill, get really good at it, get to the point where you can market yourself and then put yourself out there. And once you are able to clearly do all that, I think you'll be in a much better position. But it starts with the mentality.
Yep.
Before you get any money, you need to have clearly defined goals and you need to know, like, this is what I want and this is why I want it. And once you're able to get that down, you have your entire basis of why you're doing what you're doing. But you need that foundation first. And
Wow.
you need to have some kind of what do you call a North Star?
Mm.
I need to know where I'm going. I need to know where it is, and I need to know what I need to do to accomplish it.
And for somebody that's like, hey, I want to make more money and work less, I want to work remote, I want to be making, let's say, 7,000, 8,000 a month after tax a month hitting my bank account. Do you feel like this program has it like from A to Z? I built this program specifically because I joined other programs and it honestly sucked. Because I still had to go outside the program to figure things out on my own. Do you feel like this program has like everything in terms of like from A to Z to go from where you are now to actually landing a role, but be more specific, having a skill set? The skill set, a byproduct is actually getting the role. But do you feel like, you know, do you feel like, this program has what you need to get results?
Yes, I think that you guys do a lot of good teaching, great teaching in the program, but you define the why. The why is very, very important for people who don't have a direction, who don't have a purpose. And I think you guys eventually do teach about like, hey, this is your why.
Hmm.
Or obviously you have to define your why, and then you provide us with that skill set to actually act upon that why, because it's not enough to have the skill. What are you going to do with that money once you have it?
Hmm.
Because people blow through money all the time. People win the lottery and that money is gone within 2 years.
Hmm.
So what are you going to do once you have that money? What is your ultimate purpose? What is your why?
Hmm.
And I think that you in the past, you've done a great job in saying that, you want to help people. And this program is a way to impact millions of lives. And, I hope that you keep doing it because I am a testament to somebody's life that you really impacted, and I'm older than you. I should be the one that should be teaching you this stuff to be quite honest with you. And you have impacted my life in ways that you'll never know. So
Wow.
I just want to thank you for that. I don't know I don't know what I would be doing right now if I hadn't been in that chat, and you know what chat I'm talking about, and
Hmm.
I hadn't made that comment and you hadn't been in there at the same time, I don't know where I will be right now. It's
Wow.
like that had to be fate because I
Mhm.
don't talk online like that. And just me just being, chatty patty, you ended up seeing that and you ended
Mhm.
up noticing me. And I'm like, how did that happen?
It's
So
fun. It's funny because I don't actually like look at the chat. So it's Discord. We were on a mutual Discord channel, financial related, and I don't honestly look at chats either. Like I'm actually tore like to myself, and I like, I don't like. I just came back into the community, and it's crazy. And so it's by God's grace. It's all literally by God's grace. It's nothing less than that.
yeah, I mean, absolutely. I just at this point, being that that happened to me, I was like, that was supposed to happen. I
Hmm.
was supposed to meet Ty out. I was supposed to really get into that. And, I'm gonna, obviously later on, I know, we've been on here for a while, but I plan on paying you back for this. Obviously financially, I gotta pay you back anyway. But I plan on paying you back in more ways than you can think because
Wow.
that really, I don't, again, something like that was really unique to me. And I thought about that the other day really heavily. Like, how did that even happen? Like, it's still to this day, I just kind of I'm perplexed about that. Like, I ran into this guy that taught me all this, and it was just from like, talking to somebody randomly in a chat that I never really commented in anyway. He happened to just see me. So,
On the internet.
yeah,
I haven't even met you in person.
yeah. Not yet, but
Mhm.
you know, not everything is a scam. There's a lot of scams going around there, but this program, that's not a scam. This is legit. And you looking at somebody who you can go to my LinkedIn and just look at my, look at my profile and you know it's legit. So I got the paperwork to prove it. I got the accomplishments to prove it now. And I I will scream the attributes of this program out from the rooftops. So it may not be for everybody, but it was definitely for me. And if you're somebody who needs a skill and you want to improve your life, it's for you too.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. Like there's a lot of things that you've said that's I like to have these videos because it really truly does like impact like this video, you being on here does impact people watching this. It either gets them closer to joining a program, YouTube University, whatever the case may be, getting them closer to like, what's possible for themselves. And so I just want to thank you for that. And then if you want to pay me, pay it forward, right? There's a lot of other people out there in the world that is, can use the help. And so I want to thank you for your time. Thank you so much for, like I said, agreeing to be on here and putting in the work. Like you've put in the work. And so it's truly inspiring. I told you yesterday, I was like, literally, I feel like I got the offer. Like I'm genuinely happy. I'm really, really happy. Like the feeling that I got when I got my offer is how I feel. And so, congratulations, your life has changed forever. And anybody that's, like I said, that's interested, um, Parris, he went from $45,000 a year to $130,000 a year. And he was able to do that with the coaching, the mentorship. If you are interested in actually breaking into cloud, scaling your income to even two, three, $400,000 a year, $500,000 a year, all right, go ahead and click the first link in the description below, and I'll see you in the next video.